I'm Emily Edwards, an intern with Climate Film, and what you just watched was Zombies Like to Watch, a hilarious and well done short film in our Northern Shorts category. With us today is the film director, Rollyn.
Rollyn.
Rollyn Stafford. Rollyn, it's nice to finally meet you. And
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for having me.
it's nice to meet you too, Sean.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so what gave you the idea to do a film about a woman with a kink of her zombie ex-boyfriend watching her while she has sex with people she brings into her apartment? How did you get that idea? How did it pop into your head?
Okay, well, like I tell everybody who asks, the short film is like 85% autobiographical. So, with the exception of the zombie, this is an event that kind of happened to me. I'm not going to go too into detail about it. Let's just to say I met a wonderful girl in my very early 20s who had a particular kink, and one thing kind of led to another. And I always like zombies, and I always figure if you take real life stories and throw a zombie in there, you're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you did have a film that had another zombies like to walk or zombie walk, was it?
Zombie Walk, yeah, was it made in 2020.
Okay. Hey, Sean, how was acting as the hookup for the film for you?
Acting as the hookup. Oh, I feel so flattered. It was a really great time. Set was so easy to be on. The whole crew was wonderful to work with, and created an environment that Jenny and I could really just kind of like feel like we were in a basement apartment. And the guy who played Zach, who played the zombie, it was so horrifying to have him in this cage, just like grumbling behind the bars. So it was more a real experience caught on film.
Would you say that experience was something that was probably something you've never experienced, or like a good experience that you had gone through?
That was definitely a new experience for me. Yeah. So yeah, it was totally like as an actor, a really great experience working with a crew that was able to give like really clear directions, and everybody was on top of it, or like knew what they were doing, so things went pretty seamlessly. And as far as working with the material, it was super fun, and Jenny was great to work with. So yeah, we had a lot of fun.
In the film, Rollyn, what was it like for scouting locations? Because it looked like it was a very like secluded area because there's no windows.
Yeah, that is we actually shot in a warehouse. That is by Events Warehouse in Portland, Oregon. And they're a wonderful group of people who rent out their space to anybody who wants to use it. And they have a whole bunch of equipment and props and set decks. So much of what you see in that film, set deck wise, is from their storage room, like the old TV and the rug and the couch. That was all theirs. And they basically had this little corner in their huge warehouse. I said, well, we could like just frame this off and make it a small little basement kind of area. And by the way, the cage, that was theirs too. That was in there. That was not in the original script. Originally, Zach the zombie was like chained. He was chained around his neck and was chained to a wall. But once I saw the cage, I was like, well, let's see if we can lower him even more and just put him in this very small cage. He can't even move. And I think it worked really well for the film. I love the set deck. I think it's great.
Would you say, since the cage was more of a random ad, would you say adding the cage brought a different feel than the chain?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it just lowers Zach even further. He has, at least with the chain, he could possibly move around. That cage is small. He can't really do anything except just sit there. And you kind of wonder, like, what kind of master or ex-girlfriend is like, oh, I keep him around, but I'll keep him the smallest possible place with no movement, just so he can watch. That's all he can, and smoke his cigarette, I suppose. Yeah.
Sean, how did it, from your point of view, what did it look like for the actor in the cage from where you were sitting? What was it like?
What was it like being in the room with him in the cage?
Yeah.
You know, he's got such a presence about him when he's in his zombie getup with the black. Anytime you put black scleros on someone, they're just, you know, they're a demon from then on out. And it was part of the time the cage was covered up, and it was easy to like get lost with Jenny on the couch until there was like a wrestling, or the script said, hey, okay, you hear a wrestling, and then when I went to open up the cage, even though like I knew exactly what was going to happen, we'd rehearsed it, I had read it, I had memorized it, the jump and the roar, just it got me every time. So yeah, it was good.
It was like a nice little surprise every time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in the film, there is a poster that in the background that you see like little parts of. And I couldn't really see which film it was, because obviously it's from one of our previous film festivals that we have made for one of your films. Which film was on the poster?
Well, that was One Dead Dog. That was a feature film that was at the KIFF last year, or 2 years ago, excuse me. Yes, and I shamelessly put it up in the set deck, hoping you and other filmmakers would notice it. It just made me happy. Yes, I've gone to this festival, and
I have done this more than once.
I've done this more than once. I was very happy about that, putting that up there. I'm glad people notice it.
Yeah, because you could see definitely in certain camera angles, you could see the corners, and then when you got the big backup, you could definitely see that says KIFF.
Oh yeah, well, it's just a great poster. I think it looks great in the wall there.
It's a great advertisement.
Yes.
So, so you have the other film, Zombie Walk, and what made you want to make another zombie film for the festival?
I didn't know if it was going to be a zombie movie. Actually, I honestly just really wanted to tell this story about what had happened to me, and usually, I don't know. I thought it'd be funnier if I replaced one of the characters with a zombie instead. And I think it made a lot to laugh. I think the most I've taken it to other festivals, and honestly, the most laughs I hear from audiences are those cutbacks to Zach in the cage and his reactions to what they're saying. Whether it's like just like cocking his head or giving Sean the middle finger, or laughing that he's a virgin at 21. I think those are the best reaction shots and best comedy reactions I've gotten so far. But no, I've always had a liking for zombies. I just did another feature film called Kinsperson that has a few zombies in it too. But I swear this is going to be, I'm taking a break after this. I think I fall into a niche a little bit here, and I'm going to sort of crawl my way out for first of all the time being. Unless someone gives me like a lot of money to do a zombie film, then I'll do it. Yeah.
And you'll do it.
Yeah.
So you play several different roles. You're the director, writer, and producer. What was it like to do all three roles?
I'm used to it by now, honestly. It's basically controlling everything without being a micromanaging person. But as long as you hire good actors like Sean and Jenny and good crew, and it's very straightforward. We shot the thing in 2 days, and it was like 2 beautiful summer days, and we were inside, and just I think they were. I mean, maybe Sean, you can remember. It was 8-hour days tops. I don't even know it was that long.
No, not even that long.
It wasn't that long. It was really straightforward. So as long as I pre-planned everything, We were great. He was so happy. We had good lunch. Zach was great. He, as long as he got a smoke break in between takes, he was fine. Yeah, it wasn't that hard at all. I will say being a producer on a feature is a lot more difficult because I plan a lot of shoot days, but this was only 2 days, so it wasn't that hard.
So the process for the filming was only 2 days long.
Yeah, we only shot for 2 days. About a month of prep, I think.
Month of prep.
Well, we had rehearsals. Sean and Jenny would come over to my place, and I'd say, "Okay, go ahead and start making out, or do whatever you're comfortable with." And they were pros. I really didn't have to direct them. I was kind of worried about that, because they had to be very intimate in these scenes, and Sean and Jenny had been friends for a while, and so I just said, "Do what you feel is natural," and they just took it away. And I was like, "Great, my job is pretty much done. I'll go direct the zombie, and you guys do you." So, yeah.
So Sean, how did you feel during what was it like to do intimate scenes for a film like this?
I was really grateful to get to work with Jenny. We have been friends for a while, and when we were offered the parts, we got together, went through the script together, and just kind of took it from there with like, hey, what are you comfortable with? And went through like physical boundaries and emotional boundaries. Like we all have our own histories, and it's like, no, don't scratch me behind my left ear. It reminds me of whatever, or whatever the thing is. And so we were able to just take it step by step and get really comfortable with each other, and that way we were able to not have to think about it when we were when we were actually filming. Yeah, it was a really great process, and I'm so grateful to have gotten to do it with Jenny. Yeah.
Do you think for when you do scenes like that it's better to get with the actor or actress that you're doing a scene like that with to like understand what like boundaries and stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I know it's not always possible if you don't know the person or someone's flying in, but if I have the chance to at least talk with someone beforehand, just building some rapport and some trust, and it makes things so much easier, because you don't want to be nervous or worried when you're on set, because then you can't do your job fully. Yeah.
So you think doing scenes like that, there's definitely a trust behind it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Trust in yourself, the other actor, the director, and everybody else around you, because you're going to have to film that makeout scene 15 times from all the different angles, and it's gotta stay comfortable. It's gotta stay fresh. Yeah.
How many times do you think you probably shot the same intimate scene to find the perfect angle?
I'll let Rollyn answer that.
I don't think we did too many takes, like 2 or 3 with each angle. I mean, there's the most important ones for me were the beginning part on the couch where they, come in and Jenny has to straddle Sean. And I was like, well, how is she going to do that in that outfit? And a couple of things, but they were pros. Actually, my biggest concern was not the making out, was because when Jenny gets that intimate, she gets very quiet, and I can't hear, and even for camera. And the one part that still drives me a little bit nuts in the movie is when she says, "Do you have a condom?" I can barely hear that line. It is audible, but it's like I have to tell Jenny occasionally, you have to, I know you're being intimate, but you have to raise your voice a little bit. But I mean, no, I knew when we were going to do like tight close-ups that but I was never really worried about it. But I'll tell you, the most fun I had was actually once we wrapped the shooting part, and I needed sounds of Sean and Jenny like making out like loudly while Zach is watching them smoke a cigarette. So I took Sean and Jenny and my sound guy into a secluded dark room with no light. And I said, "Okay, guys, I need 30 seconds of you guys like really going at it." And They did. They would like start making out my sound guys right there with a boom, like right in front of their faces. And I occasionally shout directions. I was like, Jenny, it's like, say his name loud, louder, louder. And that was the most fun I ever had trying to keep it together in a secluded dark room with 3 other people while that was going on.
Would you say
that was a new experience? Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
doing the trying to make sound effects for a scene that you're not really even in was definitely new to you?
They were in it, but like I knew it just wasn't going to be loud enough. I knew we cut the very last shot is Zach smoking that cigarette and watching them go at it, and what you hear in the background is Sean and Jenny going at it in the dark room. That's that sound. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive that you had to like overlap the sounds at the timing for it to fit perfectly within.
Well, I knew it was going to be a thing. I knew I was going to want loud. They were too quiet when they made out on the actual camera, so I was like, I need to be louder.
Need it louder.
Much easier than having like calling them back into ADR or something. You know? Yeah.
So for your zombie, did you find a makeup artist or did you know someone that had really good like zombie makeup techniques already?
I actually used a guy named Kenneth Calhoun. He's out of LA, and he actually did the makeup for One Dead Dog as well. And he's a wonderful, amazing makeup artist. And I knew I wanted to have him out here for this because he usually works on his studio works on like Marvel movies usually.
Oh wow!
And I know, and he wanted to like just sort of branch out and do some indie stuff. I said, "Well, why don't you come up here? I'll pay for your plane ticket. You can crash in my couch, and I can use you for 2 days." It's like great. So he got up here and spent probably 2 or 3 hours a day working on Zach. But that was his design, and the contacts I think were Zach's idea. The black contacts. Zach himself, who played the zombie, is also a makeup artist.
Wow.
And he also did the makeup on himself for Zombie Walk the year before. But this time, I really wanted someone who could just solely focus on Zach, so Zach could be an actor. As I will say, Zach is a great zombie. He's played a zombie 3 times for me now. And he just knows what to do. I don't have to direct him at all. He just does his thing. Yeah, but Kenneth Calhoun, wonderful makeup artist. Yeah.
And then same thing for the zombie. He has a cigarette. Is that a real one or is that one like a prop cigarette?
Zach does smoke. And I said we shouldn't have a problem with you smoking. But I think because we were inside, we used a fake cigarette. I should talk to my props department. Yeah, I don't believe it was real. I tried to get as much real props as I could. I mean, if you look very closely, you'll see when Jenny comes back from grabbing the condom, she's actually holding a real condom. But we never got a close-up of that, so no one will know for sure.
I mean, now they do.
Now they do. I think I have it somewhere around here. It's still unused. I'm going to keep it as a souvenir. Like that was the one. But
I remember that film.
I think cigarette, to answer your question, I think it was not real, even though Zach would have been totally fine with
the real one.
Yeah, could have used one in the cage for all those hours.
So for this film, was this both an experience that both of you really enjoyed? Like, was it eye-opening and like an experience that you could do again with these same people if needed?
Sean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Like Rollyn said, the days weren't terribly long. That was nice. Everybody was prepared, started on time, ended on time. The food was good. People were good. You can't ask for anything more than that. Oh.
Yeah, how about you, Rollyn?
Yeah, I'd say the same. It wouldn't everything never goes as smoothly as you want it to on set. And we did have a few. I remember there was a gym next door to us,
Yeah.
like on the other side of the wall. And it was like occasionally blast music, and I'd send like my AD over to kindly ask him to turn it down. There's always stuff you're not going to be prepared for. But other than that, yeah, it was a wonderful shoot, and I had a blast doing it. Great crew and great actors, and yeah, I was laughing my ass off and behind the camera. It was great.
Okay, this is our last question. My last question for you both. So, Rollyn, what was your favorite scene throughout the whole film to make?
My favorite scene in the short. Uh, there's a moment where it just shows up in Sean's face when after he's explained himself and the situation, that you can see the tinkering in his head. He starts thinking about it. Well, he just sits there and watches, right? Like he's going to consider it, because I loved that, and that's why Sean's a great actor. You could just see, I was like, oh, it's not that bad. Just what the hell, I love. So that was that moment, that sort of plot point, I guess. That was just, oh yeah, this is going to happen regardless. I love that.
What about you, Sean?
I had fun during the moment where I was alone. Jenny had gone off screen, and I'm just kind of like awkwardly like, what do I do with my hands, or sitting on the couch, because that feels so incredibly relevant to my life. Whereas I kind of in public, I'm like, how do I like, oh, hello, how are you? Like, how do I present? Like, what is this meat suit? And what costume am I wearing today? Like, how do I, there we go. So it felt like a good way to like poke fun authentically at anyone that's on a date, including myself, that is just like, okay, how do I look cool?
That's really fun. I like to hear about what people's favorite part of their filmmaking was. Is there anything either one of you would like to say about Zombies Like to Watch?
If anyone would like to give us money to turn this into a feature film, we would all be very happy to do it and come back and make a great story out of these characters and how this relationship is going to unfold. I'd love to do that.
I'll second that.
You'll second it? Okay, thank you so much, Rollyn and Sean, for being a part of the Klamath Independent Film Festival. Zombies Like to Watch will stream Sunday, September 18th at 5:40 p.m. in our Northern Shorts category.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.